Hello guys. So today what we're going to try to do is a little winter fox. Okay, so you'll notice my paper is tall waist today. You could have your paper either way, doesn't really matter, but today I have mine tall waist. Okay, so for our fox, pick one side of the page or the other. I'm going to kind of go to the left because I want to put a tree on the other side. So what I'm going to do is start on the left side of the page here, and I'm going to start with a curve for the top of the head. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is we want his head to be skinnier towards the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of angle this down a little bit on both sides. And then once I do that, I'm going to make another curve on the bottom. But you can see how the bottom or the chin of the fox is going to be skinnier than the top of his head. Alright? Now on the top we need some ears. So the best way to do this is just do curve, 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 like that. On the bottom, we're going to make his nose, and it's just going to be a curve like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to draw two lines up like this. So we're going to start at the nose, right at the top, and I'm going to come up and curve over. Don't go as high as the ear. You can see how I'm down a little bit. On this side, same thing, up, over. Okay? And then his eyes are going to go right in here. So I'm going to do my circles. Like this. Right inside there. Okay? And you don't have to color in the nose or the eyes yet. You can wait till you're done, but they're going to be black. Alright. Now, for his body, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start right around here, and I'm going to curve down on both sides. 1, 2. Okay? And now I'm going to have, he's like sitting down, and his tail's kind of going to be wrapped in front of him. So what we're going to do is we're going to go like this. We're going to come up, down, past the other side, like that. Okay? Then this is going to be a point. It's his tail. And it's going to come around and all the way over to where it started. Alright? Now on this side of his tail, we're going to make kind of like a little zigzag line here, because the tip of the tail is lighter than the rest of the tail. We're going to give kind of a curve for his belly here, because that's also lighter than the rest of his fur. And underneath here we'd see probably one little foot. So what I'm going to do is come down and over and up, and I'm going to give him a couple little claws like that. The other foot is probably going to be covered up by the tail. So there's our little fox. Alright, on this side I'm going to do a tree. We've done this before, but we haven't done it in a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the bottom, and I'm going to start a little wide, but then when I come up I'm going to curve kind of towards the edge until I get straight. And then I want to add a few branches coming out. And there's no right or wrong way to do this, but just remember the branches are thicker where they connect to the tree and thinner out there. So I'm going to keep going, make another one like that, and then continue my tree up. Alright? I'm going to add some lines in the tree to make it look like wood, and they're just curvy, wavy lines like this. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do this. Just adding a few little lines helps it look more like wood. Like that. Alright. Now I'm going to turn this into a scene because right now it just kind of looks like he's floating. So what I'm going to do is this is going to be a snow in the snow, so I'm just going to make it kind of curvy behind him. Like that. And I think in the background I'm going to put a big mountain like we did with our snow owl. That's one thing you can do when you draw. When you learn one thing in one drawing, you can mimic it in the next to create your scene. Like that. And there is our fox. Now we're going to leave the snow white. Another detail, since it's snowing out, is you could add a very thin layer of snow on these trees by drawing a line like this. And it's not going to look like snow until we color it and we leave that little spot white, and then it'll look like snow. Alright, so now our fox. The main color for a fox is going to be orange, or you could even use a red or a combination of the two. And if you're like me, you probably have different types of oranges. I'm going to go with the darker one, I think. Alright, and you guys can just watch while I color, or color along with me. And if you can't keep up, pause it, or fast forward to the end to see what it looks like when it's all colored in. I'm going to do a little bit of the hand pressure shading here, but not drastically. So you can see I'm pushing a little bit harder in some spots and lighter in others, where I think there may be a little bit of an overlap or a shadow, like where this tail is covering a little bit of his body, and down here on his foot would be, I'd push pretty hard, like that. The majority of his tail is going to be orange. But not that tip. I'm going to leave that. This middle part of his face is going to be orange, as well as his ears. Or you could use red. I think orange is probably a better choice from the foxes I've seen, but they can get a dark orange, almost red, which is why you could actually go over some of this, do it orange and then go over it with red a little bit in some of the dark spots. Alright, my snow is staying white. My tree is obviously going to be brown. I have to peel my brown here. There's not much of a point on it. Remember, I did this little bit of snow right there. So the bottom of my branch, I'm going to push a little harder because the sun's not going to be hitting it. And I'm going to leave that little bit of snow completely white. Let's see if I can get this tree without peeling my crayon here. Same thing on this branch. Alright. Now another thing you can do is, so where some of these lines are, you can take your brown and push a little bit harder just on certain spots. Like that. Okay. Now, For your mountain, you could do that brown as well, or you could use black, or you could use a combination, whatever you want to do. I'm going to use this black, but I'm going to try to push pretty light for most of it so that it ends up being grayish. I haven't colored one live on the video in a while. I usually just take a picture of it and put it on the thumbnail or show it to you at the end. And remember, whenever I do color these on the video, I'm going very fast. I'm not trying to make it perfect whenever I'm doing it while we record, just so that you can kind of see where I push hard, where I push light. Okay, if I was not recording this, I would take my time and fill in this mountain a little better. But you'll get the idea. Remember, leave the snow at the top white and the snow at the bottom white. Okay? Now, I'm going to add a tiny bit of yellow on the fox's belly. Not a lot. And in here, because I just don't want it completely white. Just a little tiny bit like that. And I don't like to leave the sky white. So I'm going to use blue. And if you want, you could, draw some circles first, like snow was coming down. And hopefully you guys will take your time and color it more solid than I am. I'm kind of making it scribbly here, but you will get the idea. And there we go. We got our easy snow fox. All right, guys. Hope you guys like that one. I think this is pretty easy for all ages. Have fun.